Welcome to Cherezian Racing. I'm Ryan, and in this video I'm going to show you how to fix a cracked Ford 9-inch cap for pennies on the dollar. So I guess the first thing I should do right here is tell you what exactly happened. So these Ford 9-inch cases, especially the stock ones, they're cast iron, and if you get in a wreck or something, you bend an axle tube, these caps like to crack, and they like to crack right where this bolt hole is for the adjuster. So that's what happened. Obviously this one's not cracked, this one was, but I'm just going to show you kind of what I did because I already modified this one that I'm fixing a little bit. Basically it was cracked, pushed it back together, and then I tightened these bolts down real good. And after that crack was totally closed up, I went ahead and I laid a bead on here, and then I also flipped it over here, as you can see, and I kind of welded up a little bit in here. Obviously you do not want to weld on these threads right here because you're not going to be able to tap that. But anyways, I welded right there, and I left a little bit of material. As you can see, I kind of hogged it down and smoothed it out, but I left a little bit of material up because when I welded this guy, obviously heat got generated there, and when I put it back on this outer race right here on this bearing, it wasn't really that secure in there, and I feel like it was going to spin in this bore if I gave it some load. So I just gave it a little more material here so I got a little more squish, so this outer race is not going to spin anymore. But anyways, after I did that, as you can see, I totally ground this down. So I took a grinder because that's what I had, but obviously if you guys have access to a mill, that's the right way to do this because it's a lot more even. But I ground it all the way down to, I think it's about a 1/4 inch, about a 1/4 inch material left showing, and you want to make sure it's even. So what I did is I put it down flat, and to measure how even it is, I just took my tape here, and I got about 1 5/8 inches on one side and 1 5/8 inches on the other side. So I know that it's pretty flat, and you really want it flat because when you put this thing all back together, what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut this guy out, obviously right here, cut this out, and I'm going to lay it on top of here. Once it's on top of there, this thing's going to want to crack again, obviously. It's very thin, but when you have that plate on top, it's going to want to crack, and as long as it doesn't have anywhere to go on both sides, you're going to be okay. So this is a 3/4 inch piece of plate I had lying around, and 1/2 inch apply I do. This is kind of overkill, but this is what I had lying around, and 90% of the stuff I do here is kind of based off of what do I have lying around. As you can see, I don't have a massive shop. I got hand tools and bare essential stuff around here, and that's kind of what we do with our racing team here. Is we just go to the dirt tracks in the Northern California area, and we make the best of what we have. You know, we don't have all kinds of money out there. We don't have people paying for our stuff. So we basically take people's junk that they throw away. We try to modify it, rejuvenate it, and build it to be competitive. And we're not, you know, the most competitive team out there, but we do all right. And I think we come pretty far as far as what we work with and what people would have said when they first saw the stuff we're doing. So anyways, this is what I have. 3/4 inch, 1/2 inch would probably be okay. And then I'm going to show you in a second what I'm going to do with some longer bolts. So I guess I should go ahead and put a disclaimer out there that I've never done this before. If you guys are watching a how-to video how to fix something and I've never done it before, it just kind of is funny. But anyways, I've never done this before. I have heard people going ahead and welding these cracks up, just cutting a big V where the crack is, and then welding a couple good beads in there. And I've heard that they've held up, but apparently you really can't weld cast iron, and I'm not a welder, so I really can't tell you why or why not. But I did that at first, and I put it on there, and I just wasn't comfortable with it. So here it is, overkill, right? But I don't think it's gonna be a problem. I think this is gonna hold up pretty well. But if it doesn't, I will let you guys know, because we're gonna put it in this race car here, and we're gonna go race on some really rough tracks around the area. So it's gonna go through the abuse test. But so basically, what you're gonna need is a way to cut this out. And like I just said, I'll have hand tools around here, so I'm going to go ahead and use about 15 cutoff wheels, cutting this 3/4 inch plate off, and then you're going to need to drill the holes, obviously. So this is something you're definitely going to need a drill press for. There's no way you're going to be able to drill through this 3/4 inch plate with your hand tool. You're going to really probably rip the freaking drill right out of your hand and probably break a wrist. So I do have a drill press. That's one thing that I'm pretty proud of. So I'm going to put this thing in the drill press, and hopefully I have the right size bit, and hopefully I have multiple of those bits, because I'm probably going to break one of them, because this is some pretty thick stuff. But anyways, after it's all cut out, I'm going to go ahead and put a couple beads on the side here, and then I'm going to have to fill in this gap right here. So I'm going to find something around here, cut it out, fill that gap, and then a longer bolt's going to be necessary. So there we go.
Drink homemade wine or know someone that makes moonshine, but some of us still do.
All right, so about another hour and a half later, got both holes drilled. A drill bit sharpener is very handy, and so is cutting oil. Just make sure you go slow. Okay, so now it's time for some cutoff wheel action. I'm probably gonna go through about 5 of these wheels if I had to take a wild guess. And anyways, you can see I got the line traced out. Some of you guys are probably wondering right now why the hell I have the vise on the ground and not bolted to the bench or something like that, which I actually do have 2 vices up there. And the reason is I'd much rather sweep my floor than have to sweep all the metal shavings off the bench. Just me personally, so I'm doing it down here. Wow, that actually went a lot quicker than I thought it was gonna go. Cut right through that like it was butter. Anyways, this is what I'm talking about. Look at all this stuff on the ground here. Just done. This stuff gets everywhere on the bench. All in the nooks and crannies. 90% trick for you guys. All right, so now while this plate is still hot, stick your bolts through it and try to get it as center as you can. And then go ahead and tack it into place. All right, so it's a new day. Picked up some grade 8 bolts because the ones I had lying around here, number 1 were not grade 8, and number 2, they were too long. They were bottoming out in the hole and they weren't getting all the way down. So I got a little bit shorter bolts. And I kind of just thought about it. I'm not gonna go ahead and weld anything in between here and there. If you guys are using like maybe a 1/2 inch plate instead, I would do it. But there ain't no way in hell I'm bending this down at all. So anyways, this is pretty much it. I'm gonna Loctite these bolts, red Loctite them, cinch them down, and I'm gonna see if this adjuster works. Okay, so I got the bolts in, got the cap on, whoops. And I didn't tighten the bolts all the way down because you technically can't turn this screw with those bolts all the way cinched up. So I got them just backed off a little bit. I want to make sure this adjuster here turns nice and easy, which it does. So this baby's ready to go, guys. I'm gonna go ahead and set the backlash and everything and get it all set up, and then I'm gonna hit these with red Loctite and then cinch them down like they need to be torqued, and then that's gonna be the end of it. I still got to figure out a way to secure this. So what I'm thinking I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take this guy right here, I'm gonna flatten him out, drill a hole right here, and it's gonna be like that. Obviously it's going to be more like that, but anyways, that will be the adjuster stud, but I'm not going to bore with you guys with that kind of details. Anyways, that's how you fix a cracked cap. And if you have a better welder than I do down here, this AC buzz box, then it's just going to go even a little smoother for you. But this thing ain't going to break, guys. I don't know 100%, but I can almost guarantee you this thing ain't going nowhere. And unless you're putting 1,000 horsepower to this thing, I think you're going to be okay. Anyways, thanks for tuning in to Cherezian Racing and watching this tech tip. Hope you guys learned something. Hope you guys can put this to good use. And remember, if it's bent, it ain't broken, baby.